Hello, BAME Farm fans. It is May 28th? Sure, I don't know. It's after Memorial Day. It's none too early. You saw us plant that sweet corn, and now we're working on some more sweet corn. And it's a little drier than it was last time, so that's good. I guess we're not going to chisel. We're just going to disc and knife anhydrous, since we didn't leave too big a ruts taking the beans out mostly. Oh yeah, the chickens are over there, but I have that all stepped out to have enough room. Won't have to move them until the next planting of sweet corn. Okay, so what are we really here for? The 1466 is running. I got a new injection pump, or a rebuilt one, a heavily rebuilt injection pump. Oh, nice and shiny aluminum. I put that on, which that was a bit of a debacle, which we will listen all about while we're disking, of which I guess we should have looked closer. We can see the notched blades, which this is our disc, not the one we're borrowing. We got that fixed after it was destroyed by a stump last year. So that is fantastic. Oh, and Brad's here, that's good. Well, good timing on Brad, so we can watch the 14 and he'll drive, and then I'll go help Dad with the anhydrous applicator. We have anhydrous. We were stocking up on fertilizer and seed in this wetness. Man, that's pretty sexy front view. I don't know what it is about that angle of the cab, even though I don't like the cab inside. So yes, the injection pump, I put it on, got it rebuilt, actually by a dealer, a red dealer. Rather convenient. But the rebuild was more than just putting new seals in. We needed a lot more than seals. In fact, it sounded like they had to do quite a bit of machine work. Just some worn out shafts and things, bearings that have been somehow bad for a long time. On a side note, yes, we did get lots of additives to put in the fuel. We put some additive in. The fuel company says they put additives in, however much we believe that, to replace the sulfur. Apparently sulfur is good at lubing things up, like the inside of your injection pump. So yes, it was a full heavy-duty rebuild. The tractor's getting away from me. If he chose the gear that I was using before, that was 6th gear, and I was straight up rolling, just because I could. Okay, we're gonna let him go down and come back, and then we'll finish the story when we see him coming back at us again. About the rebuild. The rebuild was easy. Getting the tractor running was a challenge, and I learned some things about why there's certain phrases in the shop manual about resetting a pump and when you put a new one or a rebuilt one back on. So we got the pump back. This was back in the winter, I don't know, February or something. Took my time with it. Put it back on, that was easy enough. Set your timing to 18 degrees before top dead center. And they tell you in the shop manual, do not use ether to get started after replacing the injection pump. And guess what I found out? There's a good reason, because I got it to run using ether. I mean, it was a bear. Had to have throttle wide open, used about as much ether as a pull-in tractor, just spritzing it in, going. And we got it to run, and it didn't run like shit. Absolute crap. Thought I had decided to be a John Deere or something, wouldn't run, I don't know. And it sounded like a pulling tractor, kind of a low, real distant, I don't know how to describe it. Just the noise, everything was off. Now it's got a turbo, I understand that, but you could feel pulsing coming out the intake, like it had a valve sticking. You're like, oh geez, you're gonna need a valve job or something. Did all the diesel getting in the crankcase dislodge a bunch of dirt, such that, I got some dirt stuck in a valve somewhere? We got lucky. That wasn't the case, but I was fearing that and had been finishing this project off. And so finally one day I thought, what's the chance that the pump is a full turn of the cycle out? The injection pump on this spins the same speed as the crankshaft. so it fires 3 cylinders every revolution. Well, I was right. We were half a cycle out on the pump. So I got it all timed back up, took the cover off, took the gear off, did one turn of the pump, put it back on, hit the key the first time. See, the good news was we went through the debacle of bleeding out the injection lines. I figured that was it. So imagine the thing not timed right and bleeding the lines. That took forever. I mean, I was so mad. But finally, and since we had it running, I knew all I had to do was turn the pump, and it was either not going to run at all, or it was going to be great. And it was great. I hit the key, it took right off, running so smooth, and here we are now. So yes, we made this, by we, mostly me and a can of ether, made this thing run with the pump a half a cycle out. And that is why you do not use ether when you put an injection pump on a machine, when you have the possibility of being a full, let's say, one turn of the crank out of cycle with the pump. Because it ran not well. I mean, I ran it, I've even ground feed with it one day with the pump not in time, and it ran. I was only grinding feed, not testing it. I mean, it's way overkill for the feed grinder doing shelled corn. So yes, it's possible. Now why does that work? We got the turbo just cramming air in, and the injectors are atomizing it, and hopefully, not too much, well, it's not gonna ignite in the exhaust, but it's with enough heat. That was the point of the ether, that they get the engine running on ether, build up a little bit of warmth in the cylinders, that with enough diesel in the going back the intake from being injected right before the exhaust stroke, or after the exhaust stroke. The point is, it wasn't being shot in at top dead center compression, it was top dead center of exhaust. So the cylinder had just pushed all the exhaust out, and it's intaking more air. So 18 degrees, it's still got a little bit of space. It was injecting fuel in. Some of that might have went out the exhaust. It was very smoky, actually. And then it would suck air in and mix it up, let's say more like a gasoline, and then just by sheer compression and a little bit of heat, and it would fire. Not well. It was a pain to start, but it ran. So that is my quick little tidbit about not using ether to start your engine. Of course, see, it was cold, and this thing had always needed ether in the cold. Unfortunately, I didn't get it running properly while it was still cold to see if it starts better when it's cold out. So, come this fall, we'll find out how well this starts. However, having the 2+2, once we make it through planting season, I don't know, we don't need 3, we'll say big for our size, tractors around. Need to reduce inventory a little bit. But the 14 did save us in a pinch that one year when I bought it on accident at a farm auction. Okay, folks, well, we're going to go ahead and wrap this little tidbit up about your injection pump. And we'll catch Brad come by one more time with the disc, and we'll see what other action happens today, because we got a knife anhydrous, we got sweet corn going in. Maybe we'll go out front by the house, out by the state route, and plant some corn up there. We'll see how much water we find in the ruts. See, this is probably the best drainage field we own because it all slopes, goes to the creek. This will be the first dry spot we ever get every year. Which makes it kind of annoying because it's either sweet corn or soybeans. So the sweet corn we can get in early, but the soybeans are usually not a top priority because we have all the corn and sweet corn and vegetables to plant. I would say hit the horn, but there's no horn in this tractor. Whew. Let's see how good Brad is. Don't pick off the fence. Good, he's missing it. Perfect. That's the other thing. There's 2 big no-nos that I will have your head for around here. One is destroying the chicken fence, which nobody's done. And the other new one is if the grill, something happens to the grill on the 2+2. Because what I've heard, those things are hard to find and very expensive. So I will be very unhappy about that. Everything else is normal wear and tear that breaks. Okay, well, let's go see what the anhydrous applicator's doing. Well, 2 passes of the disc in, we're cutting pretty good. Whew, that's tight. So what do we do to the disc? I had to get new axles, new bearings, new hangers for this side. You see the straps down there on the hitch? Those were broken. If you're familiar with the 470, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you're not familiar, I have to pause it and take a closer look at what's going on there. So we're back. I'm glad we're using our discs. I know it's got new blades, and we have it set up with the angles of the blades how we want it, so it won't ridge. I think after this next time over, we can put the wings down. We just need the extra weight since we're cutting bare ground. I wouldn't say a 470 is the heaviest disc for going and just straight cutting fresh, untouched land with the wings down. Let's see, Dad's stopped. But we did make one pass on a hydrous applicator that went in the ground and gas came out. Yes. Yep, sounds like a plan. A little wet spot there. Starting to get the blades a little shiny. Oh, that's the pond too, but yes, there's a wet spot. On a side note, not that we ever looked at the pond closely, but I got the cattails down to a dull roar. There's only a few bits here and there, but we lost our grass carp last year. That's starting to show real bad. Okay, here comes an hydrous applicator. There goes the disc. Good thing an hydrous applicator was ready to go from last year. Sometimes it can be a real struggle because the valve won't be free. Usually the valve's not free. If you hear a little squeak when the 10 goes by, we have another alternator pulley, and the one on it is half worn out. These things have two alternator belts and a double pulley. Well, the one side of the pulley just plain wore away. So we got a new one, we just haven't put it on yet. It hadn't been so bad until the last couple times we used it. Because once we might have left the key on, and that does things that are not helpful. Well, it's sunk in good. Why did he lift it up? Put it down. I thought he looks like he lifted it up, so putting it down. Yeah, it's not going to close quite as well over here. He needs to why did he lift it up? Yeah, there's a little bit of loose gas. The good thing about anhydrous, we're putting liquid in the ground, so little wisps you see, it's kind of like steam coming off a boiling pot. You see it, but there's still, you know, a gallon down there. He wasn't having troubles before. We're planting sweet corn over here. Oh, we're going to put the wings down for him. I think we've had enough of the wings up, I think. There we go, yeah, okay. Woo. I think Brad's done this a time or two, cleaning up the headlands.